Doctorate Los Angeles 2026.
Oh, welcome to Out on the Lanai, the only Golden Girls podcast you're ever going to need to listen to. I am HAlanScott / Sadie Pines.
I'm Kerri Doherty, and today we're doing another Golden Rewind where we go back and rewatch episodes of The Golden Girls to offer new perspectives since we first started breaking down these episodes way back in 2014. And it's time to order a side of George Bernard slaw with your friends Rose and Madge because we just rewatched Season 3, Episode 15, Dorothy's New Friend. I cannot believe in the time that we have done these rewinds that we have not done Dorothy's New Friend. I cannot believe it.
You know how I think we did that is because we just assume we have, because it's one of the most talked about, watched episodes of the Golden Girls ever. And so we just assume, of course, we've done it. You know?
Yeah, because we have a very special reason for doing this episode, but when you said we should do it, I was like, oh no, we've already done it. And then I went and double checked and looked at my list and I was like, well, it's not on my list. So I did like a little Google search.
I love that you have a list. I would never keep a list. I'm just like, we'll just rewatch them again. You know, we'll just rewatch them.
I have a list of everything we do. And I was befuddled. I could not believe. I said, how have we not done Dorothy's New Friend?
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Maybe because we don't watch episodes that feature anti-Semites.
Oh my gosh. Do you want to talk about why we're doing this episode this week? It's a very special reason.
It is. Okay. So here in Los Angeles, they're doing Golden Girls Live, Golden Girls with a Z Live. And it is we've had them on the podcast before. I think when they first started doing the Golden Girls Live at Casita de Campo here in Los Angeles in Silver Lake. I hope I got that name right. Did I say that right? And it's this little tiny Mexican restaurant with a little tiny theater in the basement. And it is such a fucking staple of Los Angeles. And there were years there where they couldn't do the show at Casita for whatever reasons, COVID and then other things, you know? And so they're officially back at Casita and the show is airing now. I think there's one more week maybe, but I mean, you're going to listen to this after all the stuff. So like, if you missed it, you missed it. They'll do more. They're doing more. They do like 3 or 4 a year, I think, maybe less than that. I don't know, but they do it at least once a year. And for this one, they had Alaska, our boss at Mom, Moguls of Media, on to play 2 characters, Barbara Thorndyke and Frida Claxton. And more characters that I'm not going to say because it was a surprise to me and I laughed out loud, very much so. So you have that to look forward to if you do go to the show. But it was so fun. And so I saw it and we'll talk about the experience of me seeing it. But Alaska texted us in the GGVIP group with, you know, us and Elliot as well, a picture of somebody special in the audience for the show that I wasn't at. She came the next night. Kerri, who was that special person?
It was Bonnie Bartlett, a.k.a. Barbara Thorndyke, came to the show where Alaska was playing Barbara Thorndyke.
She's what,
photo,
90? She's 90?
97, I think.
97? I mean, crazy.
We're
putting the photo on the screen. If you're watching this right now, I got permission from Alaska. I texted her today to put the photo on the screen. So if you're watching this on YouTube or on Patreon, you get to see this wonderful photo of Alaska, or you can just go to her social media because that's how the internet works.
Absolutely incredible. Imagine playing Barbara Thorndyke with Barbara Thorndyke in the audience. I feel like just as a Golden Girls fan and as a performer,
I don't know how she got through it. Here's the thing. The way that you've seen like the first version of it, right? Of Golden Girls Live? Yes.
Yes, okay. Where they essentially reenact episodes.
That's what they do. It's the scripts. They do the scripts of the Golden Girls, and they still do that to this day. I mean, there are little things like they announce transitions and stuff, but like for the most part, they're very committed to the script. And I saw it on I think it was opening night. And so Jackie texted me afterwards. So the people who are in it are Alaska's a guest star doing her parts. And then the main core cast is Sam Pancake, who also produces it, as Sophia, Jackie Beat, the wonderful, amazing, iconic drag queen as Dorothy, Sherry Vine, another icon as Blanche, and then Droege, who is drag and an actor and an artist and all of the things as Rose. And over the years, since we first saw it to now, of course, their characterizations of these women have changed. And just like with anything in drag, their drag has morphed into the characters in a way that the way Jackie, I listen, okay, I bow at the altar of the legacy in which Jackie Beat and Sherry Vine exist in the world. They are drag icons, they are heroes, they paved the way for any of us, Alaska and myself even, to be able to do any of the things that we do. It is because of drag icons like those two icons in this show. So give them their flowers. But what I find so fascinating about what they do, particularly Jackie is loves the Golden Girls. She's Alaska level in quoting, in obsession, in I mean, she's just her and Alaska are just sisters from another mister or whatever the phrase is. I don't know, but they like are very much alike in their Golden Girls wavelength. And during the show, Jackie is doing these things like, for example, and I was the only one laughing at this, and it pissed me off because I was around. I mean, well, I'll get to that in a second. I was around some friends and they were incredible, but there were some people who didn't quite get when Jackie was pointing at Barbara with her finger, the way Dorothy does in the show, where she's like, and it's like her fingers almost curved up in a way, and that's how she points,
yeah.
and she makes a point. And Jackie, and it's so goddamn subtle. And I was like the only one laughing at it at certain times because it's so funny to me. And only Golden Girls fans, true hardcore, like diehard Golden Girls fans, pick up on those little things.
Tiny little things.
Tiny little things. And that's what's so great about this show. If you ever get a chance and you're in Los Angeles to see Golden Girls live, or really to see any drag show of Golden Girls live, but I will say there is something special about these four doing it because they're icons and they're just different, and they're just special in a different way. And when you're in that audience, it is this delightful mix of hardcore fans like myself that know the mannerisms and the things and all of the things. And then there are the fans who just want to go out and have a good time with drag queens. And so we're all kind of in the same room laughing at different things. And it creates this chorus of joy in this basement of a Mexican restaurant that I left just thinking like, God, I'm lucky to be alive and do what I do. I'm lucky to be alive and be in this community and be with these people and know these icons, and to be able, how honored I am to be able to send Jackie Beat a ridiculously long, insane voice message at midnight on a Friday praising her for what she did as Dorothy Spornak. And it just was so much fun. And I went alone because I'd messaged you earlier in the evening because you were my first message to go to the show, and you couldn't go to the show, obviously, because you're a mother and it's a late show, and that makes sense. But it was
just a little too late. We had like two nights already that week where we'd had friends over, and they were over until like 10, 11 o'clock. And so I
saw you earlier in the week at Elliot's thing.
Yes. Well, that was one of the nights. So we went to Elliot's book event. And then after that, we had friends over who were still over when I got home, who stayed for a few more hours. So I had two nights. And then our friend, Zach Wickham, came over, who's been guest on the podcast. He came over for dinner and stayed for like 4 hours, and we had so much fun. But yeah, I was like, I need to go to bed at like I need to be asleep by like 8 p.m. kind of thing. So
yeah. And then while I was there, and my friend Dano was supposed to come with me, but then he had a date, whatever. And so, I went by myself. I pulled a Dorothy Spornak, and I decided to go out and be a little daring and go to the Rusty Yanko, if you will. And so I'm there, and I see across the bar two people that I recognize. One is a Miss Danielle Soto, aka Dr. Cheesecake.
Dr. Cheesecake.
And then I see the icon, the queen herself, the woman I've never met in person, but I immediately squealed over, Marsha Posner Williams. Oh my God.
Love Marsha.
I'm not, everyone, it should not come as a surprise that if I get excited in public, it becomes a dramatic experience that everyone is aware of. So it became a dramatic experience everyone was aware of. There were homosexuals lining up who were like, is this homosexual having a heart attack? Because it was so lovely to see her and to see Dr. Cheesecake, of course. And then as we all caught up and we're planning dinner and stuff. So we need to get Dr. Cheesecake back on the podcast too. We need
Absolutely.
to make that happen.
I'd love that.
And Marsha too. And Marsha too. But then as I was standing in line, I saw a gaggle of homosexuals that made my evening because so two of them are very, very good friends of mine, Chris and Marcus. And Chris is just, I mean, they're both just like the most adorably handsome, gorgeous men with like assets to prove and back it up. I mean, whew. And then I joined their group. They're so kind to let me join their group. And there's this one kid in their group named Charlie who I did not meet before that night. Turns out he and Marcus are in clown school. Did you know that? Like, I didn't even know clown school was a thing in Los Angeles, but they are in
Yeah.
clown school. And Charlie, I sat across from Charlie during this Golden Girls event, and I have never. He's a younger homosexual than me. You know what I mean? At least he reads younger. I don't know. I mean, I'm only 28, so he must only be 22. But he reads younger. But he got all of the jokes. That bitch was giggling up a storm during that Golden Girls live show. He was having the time of his life. And he's like a young kid who's like getting started in sort of comedy and stuff here in Los Angeles. So he's doing improv and stuff and all like that. So it was really nice to be across from another Golden Girls fan who also is like trying to do things in comedy. And I as someone who it works in this industry, it kind of was nice to be like, I like you, kid. I like you. I'm going to be the Dorothy to your someone under Dorothy.
I I love when the younger generation loves the Golden Girls. Like I
Me
love it. The
too.
legacy continues.
I
Well,
know.
it sounds like the show was absolutely amazing. What an experience. I'm
Oh, wait,
definitely
I
gonna have
have
to
to
try to
say,
make the next one. Yeah.
I have to say, so like Jackie's incredible, of course, but I wanted to talk about Sam and Drew and Sherry a little bit. So Sherry does it in a way. Sherry's known, her drag is known for her legs and her song parodies and just how sexual she is. So she fits Blanche so well. And Sam turns Sophia into sort of like a slapstick. Like it's Sophia, but it's like slapsticky in a way that is so like Borscht Belt. You know what I mean? Like there's like
Sure.
an element that is just so over the top and it's so fun to watch. And there was even one moment during the Frida Claxton episode where someone forgot to bring out the casket. And so Sam is of course a producer on the show, knows immediately, oh, someone forgot to bring out the casket. So Sophia just picks up the casket and drops it on the stage. And it was so funny. And then Drew Droege. There's no surprise. If you Google Drew Droege and Chloe, you'll understand the genius that this man is. But Drew Droege does something with Rose that he's not doing an impersonation of Rose and he's not doing his own thing. He's in another world. He's doing Rose as if she went to space, she picked up a Slurpee, and came back to tell the story but forgot the story. You know what I mean? Like he's so flustered as Rose, but at the same time and his accent as Rose is like not quite Rose and the boobs are so big and it's just and the hair is like cockeyed and he's always messing it around and like he's playing this meta Rose in a way that I can't even describe to you. You have to go see it. If you're ever in Los Angeles and you get the opportunity to see any of these four in anything, go see them, but particularly in Golden Girls Live, because Drew is doing something that is like Broadway level meta that I don't even understand with Rose. That was just a joy to watch. I mean, he does these like, he like eats his words. He's like, but Blanche, like I can't even do what he's doing because it's just so wild and inappropriate and lovely and just I could rave more, but I'm gonna stop because
I
I'll get
mean,
boring.
yes, you can. I love this. I love that you went. I definitely have to make the next one.
You do. You really do because it is and it's I can't speak enough of support these actors and these icons of drag in a way. You know, we praise these drag race queens and yes, these drag race girls get butts in the seats and Alaska's one of those drag race girls, but like it is very important to remember the people and Drew is also one of them too. Maybe not with drag, but with acting. I remember when I first came to Los Angeles as like a young comic and I was making weird videos and I was trying to do weird things and Drew I remember one time Brian and I, my best friend Brian, we were filming this stupid comedy video at our place and we knew Drew through friends, of course, but like Drew was like a working actor. He was like on like big shows, like a working fucking actor. And we would text him to come over to shoot some weird scene for like a minute for no money. And he would just drive his Honda or whatever the fuck he drove over, park in front of the house, come in, put on whatever we tell him to put on, do 10 minutes worth of weird shit, and then leave. And he's just one of those. And so it's nice to see good people doing great things, being good people, and continuing to be good people. I just love it.
Well, speaking of good people and our listeners who are a bunch of good people, we have kind of a surprise thing
we do.
to announce. Before we get into what's going over on the Patreon this week, we have a fun little contest that we're going to be doing.
Contest. Okay, so I thought of it because, we always, in the world of podcasting and making things, music is always, our joke on the podcast is we can't afford it because music is always the hardest, most expensive thing for us to deal with on this goddamn podcast. And so we've had, if you've been with us for the past 10 plus years of this podcast, we've had a plethora of theme songs on this podcast. And I thought 10, 12 years into this podcast, it might be fun to have an actual produced podcast song. You know what I mean? Like a song that is connected to the Golden Girls in some way, but is original and unique. And then I thought, we have such creative listeners. We have such creative people who are part of this podcast. Wouldn't it be fun if we opened it up to the community to create our theme song, to create something that is Golden Girls inspired in some capacity that could potentially be our theme song? That sounds like fun, right?
It sounds like so much fun. I feel like a lot of our listeners, we have so many creatives. We definitely have musicians and singers. And we would absolutely love for you to compose something, play some instruments, do some singing. Golden Girls inspired, could be inspired by the podcast and like funny, weird things about the podcast. Any direction, any style of music. We would ask that people don't use AI to create this.
Don't use AI for sure. The other important thing is don't sample music that has been on the Golden Girls. And when I say don't sample, I mean don't directly sample. You can, do your own version of the Golden Girls theme song in your own way, playing it your own way, but you can't use a sample from the actual recorded song from the theme song or anything from the show. You can quote the show, but you can't use a quote from the show, if that makes sense. You can't use a direct audio recorded quote from the show.
Yeah, because then we'll go, can't afford it.
Yeah, exactly.
So everybody can submit their songs. We'll show you how to submit in just a second. But by the end of September, we're going to pick a few finalists. We're going to have those finalists on the podcast.
So if you've ever wanted to be on a guest on the podcast, submit a song and you could potentially win a chance to be on the podcast, and we can talk to you about how you came up with the song, the inspiration for it, why you think people should vote for your song, because ultimately the people that we choose that will be in the running to be the winner of this theme song will be voted on by you, the listeners.
Yes,
or
so
the viewers.
The listeners, you will all get to vote, decide whose song you want to be our next theme song. So how you can submit it is just emailing us an audio file out on the Lanai podcast at gmail.com with the subject line, new theme song. We're going to be reminding you guys, we're going to be talking about this every week until the end of September as submissions come in. Get creative, get fun, and
a technical thing when you're emailing a song, just because I know it'll make it easier. Don't attach a direct song to an email because that will go to spam real quick. Make sure you do it through like a Google Drive file or a Dropbox file or something that we can go to download the file and be safe about it. You can do it in a zip folder. You can do it like in lots of ways, but attaching a file these days on an email is usually a good way to get yourself into spam.
And also the theme song should be like 30 seconds to a minute. It's something that we'll play at the beginning, the end of the podcast. We may only play a little portion of it at the top of the podcast, but feel free to make it up to a minute if you like. And I'm really excited to see what people come up with.
Me too. And then, of course, if we choose your theme song, we'll credit you on each episode of the podcast in the show notes and, going forward and stuff. And at the end of the podcast where we do the credits and stuff. So, submit get creative. I will say, don't do a sad one. No one's going to vote for a sad one. No one's going to.
Also,
I mean, if you
you don't
want,
have to be the world's greatest singer either.
no. I mean, I'm willing to sing. If you want me, you can sample our voices. Oh, we should say that. You can sample anything we've ever said on this podcast. You can take
Yep.
our voices and do whatever you want with them. But you can't do it to the girls, unfortunately.
Just not from the Golden Girls. Okay, so that's super exciting. Also super exciting. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're just going to jump into this episode very soon. Over on the Patreon, we will be having a live watch-along party this upcoming Sunday, August 23rd at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I'm going to put up, by the time this airs, I'll be putting out episodes for people to vote on, and then we'll watch it on Sunday. This is on the Patreon at the $8 a month tier. So if you've ever thought about joining the Patreon, or if you've ever thought about bumping up from the $5 a month to the $8 a month, you can come to this live watch along party. They're so much fun. We all watch it over Zoom. We talk in the chat. It's amazing.
Oh, and we forgot to mention for the contest, if you are a member of the Patreon, your vote for the song counts as 2.
There you go.
Yeah.
So
even more reason to join the Patreon this month, because then when we ultimately vote, you'll be able to get 2 votes instead of 1.
Okay, and then happening over in our Rusty Anchor Happy Hour bonus episode this week, we're going to talk a little bit more about Bonnie Bartlett. This is a Bonnie Bartlett week. I found a really great article where Bonnie talked about how the live audience responded to her character. There was actually another part that she tried out for on the Golden Girls that she didn't get. We're going to reveal who that is. She talks about the person close to her who inspired her performance as Barbara Thorndyke. And she actually said the actor who played Murray Gutman was the 3rd one cast, and she also reveals why. So those are all things that we're going to talk about. It's going to be a Bonnie Bartlett appreciation moment, and yeah, you can check that out at patreon.com/Golden Girls podcast. We have so much to talk about with this episode. Should we take a break and then get back into it?
Oh my God, we so should, because there's a lot going on.
And we are back talking about Dorothy's new friend. And a fun tidbit about this episode, which a friend of the podcast and former guest Jeffrey Carter has mentioned, is that Love Jeffrey and his Golden Girls collection. So this episode is actually very similar to an episode of Mary Tyler Moore Show, which of course Betty White was on.
Yes.
Excuse me. Called Some of My Best Friends Are Rhoda. The storylines are very, very similar. Mary gets chummy with a woman named Joanna, which annoys Rhoda. Toward the end of the episode, Jana was looking for a 4th person to play doubles tennis at the country club. Mary suggested Rhoda, but Joanna balked because the club does not admit Jewish people, prompting Mary to end her friendship with Joanna. It's so similar.
Yeah. I mean, I will say there is in this country a very sad history of course, segregation, but like clubs and stuff like this that, I mean, I don't want to say they're still around to this day, but I bet they are. Like, I bet there are unwritten like rules of some clubs in this country for like rich people. I mean, you just know there are.
I also feel like Barbara Thorndyke is one of those villains on the Golden Girls where she's a little bit of a sneaky villain. Like, Frida Claxton is she's villain who
direct. She's very direct.
She's very direct. Yeah. She's very mean. Whereas Barbara Thorndyke, it takes Dorothy a while, essentially to the end of the episode, to actually see that Barbara's not a good person. And
because there's something fierce about Barbara. You know what I mean? Barbara dresses great. She has a wonderful smoky voice. She's very lyrical in how she speaks. She's something someone you aspire to in a way, in that she's successful in the way she carries herself and all of it. And then you realize she's a see you next Tuesday.
She's a big old see you next Tuesday.
We see it. We see it.
So to start at the beginning of this episode, I did want to ask if you have ever been to a masquerade ball, because I do
Mhm.
have a question about this particular one.
Yes, I have.
You have. Okay.
I have.
Correct me if I'm wrong. It is my understanding that a masquerade ball is like a fancy party where you dress in formal, elegant evening attire with a decorative mask, eyes wide shut, if you will. That kind
I
of
don't
thing.
think that's the only way to do a masquerade ball, but I think that is historically the way to do a masquerade ball.
Have you ever heard of or seen a masquerade ball portrayed in cinema wherein one dresses in a giant animal mascot costume?
I have seen. I don't know the film, but I feel like I must have. Because that is an element. There is a costume element to a masquerade ball, and I don't know where it comes from. I think it might come from like French times, like Marie Antoinette times or something, where they would dress in costumes as sort of like a part of the party or something. It is a thing. There's also like a I think there might even I may be getting this wrong, but there might even be like a sexual thing.
Okay.
So
Okay.
like, I mean, in Eyes Wide Shut, there definitely were. I don't know why. I don't think I would like to wear. I don't like when the masquerade ball I went to was for fun and there was no sex involved at all. But I'm sure I masturbated or something. But like, I would not want to wear a mask at one of these parties.
But in Eyes Wide Shut, though, was there someone dressed in like a head to toe animal mascot costume?
I do not remember that. I do remember people dressed very elaborately. I don't,
Hmm.
and maybe there was a costume. Have you never seen Eyes Wide Shut?
No, I've seen Eyes Wide Shut. It's been a
Okay,
minute.
good. God,
Well,
when Nicole Kidman smoke gets high in that bed, I mean, that is a masterclass in
yeah.
acting.
And acting.
In
Um,
acting.
I had a theory because I was like, this is not what I know about masquerade balls. So I had a theory as to why Rose and Dorothy are planning on going dressed as a giant cow. Because like
Why?
Blanche's outfit first makes sense. Like she's going to dress as Eve, like sexy Eve. She's got her snake, his
Yeah.
whiplash attorney. So this masquerade ball is for the counseling center where Rose works,
Mhm.
which means there's a
Mhm.
chance that Rose has organized it, which
Mhm.
means that there's a chance that Rose believes that this is what a masquerade ball should be because at some point in her life, I'm sure she has told a St. Olaf story where surely a farmer has masqueraded as a cow before.
Yes. I
So I
mean,
think
I get that.
I
I
had to
like
do
that.
the
I like
math
that. Yeah, I
to
like
figure
that.
out how she landed there.
Yeah, I mean, I can see, I wouldn't say no to it.
So I was just like, why? But then I was like, oh, wait, it's okay. Rose
I
probably
will say,
organized this.
even though I know it is Dorothy and Rose that were going to be in that cow costume, um, there is low key something really enjoyable and fun about Rose and Blanche in this episode and their friendship and how they get along and how Blanche sort of ribs at Rose a little bit and like there's a back and forth of an acting relationship that these two have had for a very long time and you see it in this episode because they're just so good off each other.
Yeah. And I feel like I don't know how often we see Rose and Blanche versus
Yeah.
Dorothy.
Yeah.
And I think what I really liked about this episode, I thought it was really fun how they play up Blanche and Rose's, like, for lack of a better term, like unsophisticated sides of their personality. It made them really
Mhm.
fun, like Blanche referring to Arnold Schwarzenegger as an author. Rose talking about the storylines on Alf and how they read the National Enquirer because it's the only publication that Elvis will talk to beyond the grave.
Yeah.
So like those things about them were just like really funny little like
Yeah.
nuggets of their
Well,
personality and
even in a moment where Blanche is kind of getting coming back at Barbara Thorndyke with the whole metaphor thing, and her being like, when I say men are blinded by my beauty, they don't actually go blind. And then you think that should be the end of it because she's proving a point, and then she
Mm.
goes, "They get their sight back in a couple of days." Like
uh,
it's just so there's a vanity to that and a vapid response that like I
mhm.
love in this. It's just so good. Oh, it's so
It's so
good.
good. And I could really relate to Dorothy Dorothy's yearning and sort of need for a friendship like Barbara's, or a perceived need, I guess, because, she's like, she feels like she's in a rut. She's like, work is the same. I
Mm.
have no social life. And like, I have felt that way sometimes where I
Yeah.
think like once I became a mom, I was like, oh my gosh, there's like this whole part of my identity that feels like it's gone and that I feel like I need to try to get back in some way. And a lot of that is
Yeah.
literally just like hanging out with friends. And
Mm.
so I could really
And
relate to
doing things
Dorothy.
that don't
Hmm.
don't involve, the things you're usually doing or whatever. I mean, I can relate to Dorothy's point of view in this episode. One thing I can't relate to though is I I sometimes in my friend group, I think, like to play the part of someone who's above something or someone who won't do, because I say no to things all the time and I gladly will not do things and say I don't want to do things and whatever. And I'm a priss is what I'm saying. And but I'm certainly not like a classist. Do you know what I mean? Like the high low of my life, I think, and one of the things that I'm so grateful for in my life is growing up blue collar to poor in Missouri, because it gives me a way to navigate, and especially now as an adult, I'm certainly not like rich or anything, but I'm successful, and so I can navigate in worlds that sometimes it's a world that I'm not familiar with because they're either famous or they're rich or they're whatever. Or I can navigate in a world of people who are more within my means. And I can go between both and code shift in a way, but I don't feel like I am switching sort of my personalities. I'm just always kind of trying to be relatable. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I don't feel uncomfortable. So like I don't understand Dorothy. I would never think certain friends are certain friends' activities are beneath me. Do you know what I
Hmm.
mean? Like
Sure.
ever. I wouldn't want people to think that about me. It like would
Hmm.
bother me.
I do like that, Dorothy, because Rose's advice to her essentially is like, Dorothy, your life doesn't have to be dull. You have the power to change it. And that kind of inspires Dorothy to be like, yeah, you know what? Like, there's this cool writer that I really like, Barbara Thorndyke. I'm going to go like catch her reading. And, obviously she ends up meeting her and becoming friends and inviting her over. Um, I so the names of Barbara's three books, I would kill to get some fan fiction. I would love for somebody
Oh
to
my
just write
God.
one of these. Um, we have Evil Wind over Pensacola, Scarlet Dawn at Boca Raton, So Dark the Waves on Biscayne Bay. It's amazing. They're all set in Florida. There's like a rhythm, a sing-songy rhythm to saying them. Scarlet Dawn at Boca Raton. You know what I mean? I just
Yeah, but you know what's also funny about this character is like in a weird way, because she's meant to be like scholarly and high class and snooty and all these things, but yet she's essentially writing like romance smut. Like she's just writing bottom of the barrel, like, and the titles sound cheesy, and if like I don't know, if some great writer like a Ernest Hemingway came to hang out with her, he'd probably be like, "Well, I'll sleep with you, but that's about it, girl." You know what I mean?
So when Barbara Thorndyke does come over, I actually want to play. We have a little clip. This is kind of to get a sense of her first meeting with Rose and Madge, and also there's a Blanche joke in here that I absolutely love.
Same.
I went for a walk in a crowded marketplace. A man came up behind me, put something in my hand, and said, "This is what you need."
That happened to me once in the produce section at the A&P.
Well, anyway, the man gave me the brooch, and since then I've never had any problem writing. This is my muse, my artistic inspiration, the embodiment of my creativity.
And you know what's even better? It goes with anything.
So
You know
sweet.
what I love about that clip is, and I think that kind of explains sort of who I relate to most in this scenario, and it's Blanche, because I find in situations like, for example, when I'm with like I'm trying to think of an example of this, but like when I'm interviewing a celebrity, I'm having to like do a thing with a celebrity or whatever. I never think they're above me. And so, I mean, I'm respectful and I have reverence and of course, whatever. But like, I'm just as okay with telling an inappropriate or funny story about something stupid I did to like Dolly Parton as I am to you. You're like, I don't find it to be, there's no, like, to me, it's just a part of my charm. It's, and in a weird way, Blanche being like, the same thing happened to me. Like that, I relate to that so much.
That's so funny. I feel like I have the opposite problem where so one time in, I was doing a press junket for Mission Impossible Fallout, and I was in Paris. This was like the coolest thing I ever got to do when I was at IMDb.
Yeah.
And I went in to do a one-on-one with Henry Cavill. And I came in and he said hello or whatever, and we're chatting, and he's like, "Can I get a selfie?" And I was like, "Oh my God, like he must love IMDb. He like whatever." So I was like, "Yeah." So he like took a picture of the two of us because I was like, "Oh, he's a huge IMDb fan, or maybe he's like seen me on IMDb." And then the next day, Henry Cavill posts a video. He took a photo with every single person that came in to interview him, and he stitched it all together, and it was like a very sweet, like,
Yeah.
look at all the fun people I got to talk to yesterday. It was actually incredibly sweet, but for like just a moment I thought I was special, and I was like, I'm not special.
You are. You are.
He was very nice though. I think he's just like a big dork. Like he's a nerd.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
so just to go back to that Blanche joke, I just want to be 100% clear. Did the Golden Girls get away with telling a joke on network television about a man taking his penis out and putting it in Blanche's hand in the produce department?
I think so. I think so.
That
And
is
you know what?
incredible that they got away with that.
God bless. I love it.
It's incredible that they got away with that.
I love a little penis. So, yes, let's have a penis joke.
So obviously, we've all seen the scene. Barbara is not super nice to
No.
Rose and Madge. And I think Rose and Blanche, they have good pickers when it comes to like good people versus bad people. And they're both like trying to tell Dorothy, they're like, she's hard to talk to. There's something about her I'm just not vibing with. Like, actually, they're saying this to each other. And honestly, I feel like at this age, you don't want to be forced into social situations with people like that. Like,
totally. Oh, totally.
I mean?
Elliot and I have that all the time because Elliot is God bless him. He sees the best in everybody. And I literally just before we started this podcast, I was like, can I be mean for a second to someone that was on a story or something that I was responding to? And then, of course, I had to send him a voice message being like, let me tell you why I hate this bitch. And it's just so, I don't know. It's so, I love it because I think you need that. I think that's healthy to sort of like have the friendships that you can freely be like, let me tell you why I can't talk with this person or I can't relate to this person. And then like, no, without fear of that friend being pissed at you.
Yeah. And I think like, I understand like Dorothy really, really likes Barbara, and clearly Barbara is like filling some kind of void that she feels like she needs in her life. But at the same time, Rose and Blanche are two of her very good, trusted friends. And you'd think that you would listen to your trusted friends when they're like, I'm seeing some red flags with this person.
Well, it would be a red flag for me because if my friends don't see the thing that I see in a person, maybe, I don't know. I think there's a difference between, not liking someone just because they're just like not your type of person to hang out with, but like, it's okay. Like, you just don't get along.
Yeah.
But they actually see like qualities that are bad for Dorothy, and they're trying to like kind of give like they see danger.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a real like Molly, you in danger, girl. It is interesting though that Blanche and Rose are upset that Barbara doesn't invite them along when she hangs out with Dorothy because like they don't even want to hang out with her. Like if I were them, I'd be like, Dorothy, you go, you thrive in this new friendship. We're fine. We don't really want to,
Yeah, it's not your thing.
There is another moment between Rose and Blanche that I would love to play because it is such an amazing dig at Blanche.
I love it.
Rose, what was your first impression of me?
I thought you wore too much makeup and were a slut. I was wrong. You don't wear too much makeup.
I mean, it's just so good. It's so good. And I love when Rose is being a bitch without knowing she's being a bitch.
Yeah, it's that thing where she's smiling when she says it, and you're like, don't know. You're like, does she know that she's doing a dig? Like in that moment, it is genuinely hard to tell.
You know who's like that?
Who?
Michael.
Oh, really?
Naomi and I constantly will say to him, we don't know if you're being shady or real, because so often the line, it's just blurred.
I love that.
Yeah.
Do we have to take a break at any point?
In a few minutes, yeah.
Okay, cool. So let's see.
Take a break now.
Okay.
You planted the nugget, so let's just take a break.
What's funny about Rose saying when she first met Blanche, she thought she was a slut. If we remember from the episode The Way We Met, the first time they actually met was at the grocery store. So like the makeup thing, sure. But then I was like, oh, why would she think she's a slut at the grocery store? And I was like, oh, maybe because this was the day that the man took his penis out and put it in Blanche's hand in the produce section, because we don't know how Blanche reacted to that. And maybe Rose witnessed it.
Wait, real talk. What was your first impression of me when we first met? I mean, obviously we met at my birthday, so like it was a different kind of impression. But what was your first impression? I'll give you mine. To you.
I just remember, I mean, obviously we started talking about the Golden Girls and we vibed. I feel like all I can remember it was like, oh yeah, I fuck with this person. I fuck with her.
Oh.
Like I feel like that was my yeah.
This is the bitch I can fuck with. Let's go.
Yeah, I liked you. And then we had our first meeting at the coffee shop where we talked about doing the podcast, and I was like, wow, you're like really easy to get along with. It just felt natural.
Those two moments, I think, yes. So my first impression was, yes, we vibed. And then at that same moment of meeting you, I thought to myself, photos are going to be weird though, because you're so much shorter than me. And so like, it's going to look like I'm your uncle every single time we take a photo. And it's just like, that was legitimately a thought I had. And then
that's so funny.
Because whenever I'm around small people, I'm like, oh God, I got to like do things in a photo so I don't look like a giant. Because I always come off looking like a giant.
I have to crouch. Some of my favorite photos, by the way, is us at Golden Con where you're Sadie and you're already in like crazy platforms and I just look like a little teeny tiny daisy.
Yes, there's just no way I can't look like a giant. And then my other impression, and I think my first real impression of you, because I often find how people react to me is how I judge them, because like I know I can be a lot and annoying and obnoxious and all of the things. And so at our first meeting, I told you I won't do this if someone else is doing it. And I don't want it to be a boring podcast where all we do is like shoot the shit. I don't want to shoot the shit. And you responded to it immediately being like, yes, all I want to do is have structure. All I want to do is have like
that sounds
a plan
like me.
for everything. And I fully agree. And I was just like, good. So that the fact that you weren't repelled by my authoritative way of being like, I won't do this. Like, because I tend to be abrasive in that way. Yes.
I was a yes and person. You say something, I'm like, yep, and that was me. Fun. Okay, so let's see. Oh,
they decide to try to get Barbara on their side to have dinner. Isn't that where we're at? I think that's where we're at.
So there's the moment where they go to her and Dorothy go to the writers symposium.
Yes.
This restaurant, I don't know what they were going for, but like
it would annoy the fuck out of me, that restaurant.
There was a full night statue in the corner. I was like, what? I was like, what are they going for? It's also funny that like a place that is meant to be so sophisticated has like puns in their menu titles. I was I mean, it was funny. I loved it. I get that they're like really playing on like, it was funny for the show, but I was like, in real life, this would be like, I'm
it's
trying
like
to think of
medieval knights for writers. I mean, it's like it would be, and I don't think Barbara Thorndyke would go to a place like this.
Yeah. But yeah,
you know?
it was funny. I thought it was really interesting that Dorothy wanted to talk to Barbara about her tension with Blanche and Rose. Like, she's like, they feel left out of our friendship, when that's actually not the case. Like, they just don't like Barbara. Like, don't try to broker a peace deal. This isn't what they want. They don't feel left out. They just don't like Barbara. So that's when she's like, well, let me start over with them. I'm going to invite everybody to the Mortimer Club for dinner.
This Mortimer Club. Ugh.
You know. I am obsessed with everybody's outfits, though. They are.
Oh my God! Did you notice?
Everyone is wearing sparkles.
We probably talked about this. I know for a fact that Betty White and Rue McClanahan wore I know Rue McClanahan's outfit, but I know Betty White also wore that outfit on another episode of Golden Girls. But Rue McClanahan, that's the dance-a-thon.
The dance-a-thon.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, I noticed that. I loved Barbara's brown outfit.
Oh my God, Barbara's outfit, like out of this world. Iconic.
So good. And she is almost as tall as B. Arthur as well. So it just fit really well on her.
I mean, I'm going to say it. Of all the anti-Semites in the world, Barbara Thorndyke looks like the best one. She looks the best at it. I mean, she looked good. The hair, the makeup, the way she even walked with that full. I mean, all of it was just like, this woman is seriously a woman.
I feel like up to the point where she takes Dorothy into the kitchen, there was some redemption possible for Barbara, where, Dorothy could have said, hey, Rose and Blanche are my two best friends. Like, we don't have to all hang out, but I'd really I really need you to. I really need you to be nicer to them, which again should be a red flag in and of itself.
Yeah, the fact that someone who is your friend is treating your other friends like this, like, that is a red flag.
Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
If you say to someone, this person is important to me, and that person treats that person like a piece of shit, like, guess what? Get rid of that person. Like, they're not worth your time. Trust me, they're never going to change. They're never going to be nice to that person. They're never going to come around. No, not good.
So they're all going to go to the Mortimer Club when Sophia's date, Murray Gutman, shows up. And
cute little Murray.
Sweet little Murray. And Dorothy, of course, is completely blown away when Barbara reveals that the Mortimer Club is exclusive. So Murray can't go because he's Jewish, which is awful. And Dorothy's like, get the hell out. Like,
go to hell.
Go to hell.
Go to hell. And the way Jackie in the show confronts Alaska, everything on every level. The way, and even Jackie does a thing where she like puts her hands on her hips the way Dorothy does, and she's just, I mean, Jackie really is doing kind of method acting.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah.
I also, two things I really loved about the end of this episode. One, I love how quickly Dorothy threw Barbara Thorndyke out of the house. And I also love how quickly they made up with Dorothy after she apologized.
Well, that's the mark of a good friendship is, you don't stew on things. You don't let petty little small moments of friction define a family. Like, you just don't. Like, you talk it out. Sure, you acknowledge pain, you acknowledge someone being upset, but then you're just like, okay, but maybe let's go to Denny's.
Let's just go to Denny's.
Like, honestly, you know how much like a nice little pancake will solve any problem?
Yeah. And that's the episode. It's It's a good episode. Sophia is my one complaint. I miss Sophia in this episode. She's really, really light in this episode.
She is, and it would have been interesting to have a confrontation. I mean, I don't think you can have a confrontation between Barbara Thorndyke and Sophia because I feel like it would just add too much. You know what I mean? It just would be too much.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think maybe they were kind of lost in what to do with Sophia in this one. But regardless, we got that confrontation. We got the showdown between Dorothy Spornek and Barbara Thorndyke, and that is something that lives rent free in our minds forever and ever. Should we take a break and come back with our golden takeaways?
Yes.
We have exclusive golden takeaways. Wait, what did she say? What does Barbara say about the club?
Does she say it's exclusive?
I think or something. I don't know.
It's
anyway,
an exclusive
we have that.
club.
That's what we have. We have exclusive golden takeaways. And we are back with our golden takeaways, which is a nugget of truth that you can apply to your life or the lives of our listeners. Kerri, what's your golden takeaway from this episode?
I just want to double down on something I said earlier, which is like, to all the restaurants out there, like, you can't be upscale and fancy and have a menu filled with puns. Like, you're either a kitschy, fun restaurant with dishes like Eggs Benedict Cumberbatch and Zoe Bechamel, or you just serve food with regular names and you're fancy and upscale. Like, you just serve, truffle risotto with porcini mushrooms or whatever. That's my golden takeaway. What is yours?
My golden takeaway is, well, I didn't think I was going to do this, but I feel inclined to do it. This episode is so interesting because, I mean, you all know my story of converting to Judaism, Mormonism, that whole thing. And of course, I've experienced my own sort of weird moments of stuff. But recently I had a moment where I won't say who and in what situation, but I was asked if my politics would get in the way of an interview that I had with a particular person who, whatever, that was it. I won't go into details. And I say all of that to say that question was asked only because I'm Jewish. No one knows my politics. No one knows. I don't talk about those things. I don't go into those discussions. Because it's not relevant to what I do. I mean, we can have that if you want, but like it's not relevant to me talking about the freaking TV show or something. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not. And I say that to illustrate a point that these type of microaggressions, these type of things exist with marginalized people on lots of levels, from, Jewish to I mean, any religion really, to race, to gender, to sexuality, to all of the things. These kind of aggressions, they aren't always as direct as an anti-Semitic thing to your face or as a racist thing to your face or sexist thing or whatever. Sometimes they're subtle, and hate comes in subtle ways. And it really is a mark, I think, of how you respond to that and how you pick up on that and how then you follow through with those conversations that really make, I don't know, things a little bit better. And so, like, how I responded to that was being upfront and saying, this is inappropriate and I'm not going to work with this and I won't work with this. And it's an inappropriate question to be asked. And so I say that to say, like, yeah, these things still exist. And I like that these episodes, we can talk about these things and that people watch the Golden Girls and see it and see the right thing and how you should respond. I didn't tell someone to go to hell, but I did say, in the nicest professional of ways, go to hell.
Yeah.
It was a weird moment.
Yeah.
It was an awkward moment for me because I've never been asked that before in my life. I've never had that kind of conversation before. And it was casual, but at the same time, it was direct. And I was just like, what is this? What is going on? It was very strange. It was very strange.
I'm glad that you responded in the way that you did, as you should have.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Fun times, though. Yay.
Well, everyone, this has been another episode of Out on the Lanai. Thank you all so much for listening. Be sure to catch us back here next week for more Golden Girls greatness. Also, remember, you can submit your Golden Girls theme songs to us at outonthelanai podcast@gmail.com with the subject line new theme song. Remember, upload it somewhere, send us the link. We really look forward to start hearing some songs in the near future.
Oh my God, I'm so excited.
If you want to join the Patreon, you can do that at patreon.com/Golden Girls Podcast. You get tons of bonus content, live watch along parties, just so much great stuff. Go check it out.
So fun. And guys, we're part of Mom, Moguls of Media. So go do that over there and follow us on social media at Golden Girls Pod on Twitter, Out on the Lanai Official on Instagram, Golden Girls Pod on Facebook, and I'm HAlanScott/Sadie Pines on everything.
And if you want to do something else nice for the podcast, you can rate it and review us wherever you get your podcast.
And remember,
as always,
oh my God, stay golden.
Stay golden.
Let's say stay golden like Dorothy said, go to hell. Stay golden. Aggressive, stay golden.
Out on the Lanai is not endorsed by Whit Thomas Harris Productions, Touchstone Television, Disney, or any of its subsidiaries. It is intended for entertainment and informational purposes only.
All names, pictures, audio, and video clips of the Golden Girls are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and/or copyright holders.